What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Zaahid. This is my buddy Marc, and this is his beautiful Lexus ISF. A little while ago, we did a video where we installed an Xforce catback exhaust on his car, and it sounds great. It really brings this V8 to life. But that's not always practical when you're talking about your daily driver. So hopefully today's install is going to remedy some of the issues you might have with having a very loud exhaust.
Today we'll be installing this Varex valved muffler system made by Xforce to give Marc the flexibility to decide when he wants his car to be rowdy and when he wants it to be quiet and comfortable. The key here is to have the option to choose between the two at the press of a button. Before we get into the install, let's talk about why you might want a valved muffler on your car. These days, more and more manufacturers are including valved mufflers, also known as active exhaust systems, from the factory, and it's clear this technology is becoming standard. Adding one to your car modernizes it, and it also allows you to have the benefits of a freer flowing exhaust. So you get the best of both worlds. It's loud when you want it, and quiet when you need it. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get started on this install. To make sure you have a clean install, you're going to want to start by removing your trunk liner and your back seat in order to hide the wiring that goes from the muffler to the power source. In this case, the power is coming from the auxiliary power outlet, aka the cigarette lighter in the center console. In our specific case, we had to trim the tips of the Varex muffler to make sure we would clear the ISF's bumper. Now you might be asking why trimming would be necessary. The Varex mufflers are technically a universal part designed to fit multiple chassis, and with that, sometimes you have to make small adjustments to get things perfect, which we had to do. You might not run into the same clearance issue depending on your car.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, this was the only I guess blade we had left, and that is about as low as something can go. But hey, it was enough.
With the car and the new mufflers prepped, it's time to remove the old mufflers. Since Marc is already running an Xforce catback exhaust, all we have to do is swap the mufflers over and everything should line up. Aside from the bit of trimming we had to do, this upgrade is totally plug and play. With the new mufflers installed, we'll run the cables through the undercarriage, under the trunk liner, and then under the rear seats, doing our best to hide the wiring along the way to the power source. Now it's just a matter of plugging in the power and putting the interior pieces back together. There you have it, this sporty, daily driven, kid hauling, grocery getting V8 Lexus ISF can now toggle between being an obnoxious race car and something your neighbors might actually appreciate.
It almost sounds stock. Almost. It's definitely missing. It's definitely missing the all the cats and all that, obviously, but it's way quieter. Okay, let's open it up. Perfect. Wow.
That's actually, I'm pretty stoked on that.
Dude, that's a massive difference.
Hey guys, it's been a few weeks now living with the Varex mufflers for the Xforce catback exhaust, and time to give you some feedback. In its closed quiet setting, it's perfect. I think it's even more quiet than OEM or stock. So when it's open, I can get rowdy. You get to hear the V8 scream, you get to, you get all the car noises. So it's perfect.
Okay, so we are currently cruising with the valves closed.
Yep.
And I mean, it sounds pretty great. I mean, it's quiet, it's comfortable. It feels like damn near stock.
Yeah.
I mean, if I just hop in this car right now and I didn't know about the exhaust setup, I would just assume that he didn't have a modified exhaust. Particularly with the ISF too, because of the built-in exhaust tips in the bumper. So you don't have any obvious indications of having an aftermarket exhaust. So wide open throttle with the valves closed. Jesus Christ. This car is fast. But in terms of volume, it wasn't that bad. We probably could have had a conversation. You could definitely hear the car. I mean, it's still a V8, you know, no amount of mufflers are going to really tone that down completely. It's not going to sound like a Prius.
Yeah.
But it was quite tame.
Less exhaust, more induction noise, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's perfect, because especially if my son's in the back.
All right, so while we're kind of hitting this little downhill stretch, maybe we could turn on or open up the valves. Okay, definitely a different tone immediately. It's not particularly loud, but yeah, it's a lot louder.
You can hear the rumble. I'm dailying it, like I said. I take this everywhere. I go to Trader Joe's, I go to Costco. You know, eventually I'm gonna bring my kid to daycare or preschool, right? So I don't wanna be the obnoxious dad in the, you know, in the drop-off line right here.
Okay, now we're gonna do a little wide open throttle while the valves are open. I always forget how fast this car is. That sounded great. Sounded proper the way a V8 is supposed to sound. Shout out Xforce. This wasn't a sponsored video, but we may have gotten a little bit of a discount, but luckily they hooked us up with that because Marc was gonna buy this setup regardless.
Yeah, thank you again, guys.
All right, I think that about wraps up today's video. Until next time, peace out. Take care, guys.
Later.